So it is literally the most perfect day to take a drive, and this is an impromptu video for my feed, and I just went for a hike. It's gorgeous out, and I needed to spend time with God. As you guys know, you guys follow my account and my business. I make websites. I have a website business called Untitled, and my business is 8 years old. And I just want to talk about provision, godly provision, in comparison to worldly money, and how a lot of us entrepreneurs face that decision. Am I going to go all the way with my freelancing? Am I going to go all the way with my product and my business and make that the only source of income that I receive? I know I went through that many times, and I would say probably the number one reason many do not continue working in their business is because of money. They get a job. I can't tell you how many times. So this is where I wanted to talk about actually. So back in 2008, when I quit working for my ex-boss that fell in love with me, this whole drama thing that happened, I was too uncomfortable working there. I had to quit my job. And that was my main source of income at the time. And so I relied on growing my business, but in my mind and in my heart, I thought I needed to get another job. I truly did. And throughout all of my trying, throughout all of my interviews that I had an amazing job lined up in San Francisco, working for a PR company, international design and PR company out of San Francisco, and they wanted to hire me. No joke. They wanted to hire me. And the funding for the position ran out. So that was no go. Then I interviewed multiple interviews at an amazing marketing company. This was in the end of 2018 into 2019. And great opportunity. And for some reason, the position that I applied for turned out that it wasn't available anymore. And so they were going to try to just hire me on as an associate level and basically insult me on the last 10 years of my career, and that I should only be making an associate's level income. So I had to decline. And then I applied for a web design company up in Portland, and honestly, the Lord told me the only real reason you didn't get the job is because you're a woman. No joke. And I felt that very strongly in the interview process, that there was a lot of negativity towards me, and I was not sure why. So when God revealed that to me, it was okay. So at that time, I was walking with the Lord a lot and seeking God and seeking God's face and asking Him, God, what do you want me to make as a salary? I had to ask it. I just had to just come clean with Him and be like, what do you want me to make? And the Lord answered me, and He said, I want you to make $120K a year. And I was I broke down in tears. I'm going to be quite honest, because I was not expecting that. I was going for more around a managerial position, around 70K. 80K would be great, right? So when I heard that, I broke down in tears. And on all of the walks that I took I always looked out into the field and I ignored the Lord. I ignored the Lord because I was trying to move to San Francisco. I was trying to move to Portland from Salem. I was trying to do all these things, right? And I was running, and I thought I needed to go after money from the world, truly. And every time I would look out into the fields, I should overlay this video because they had them today. There are sometimes in these farm fields, these white flags, okay? And I think they're just to show that, I have to look up the meaning of them, why farmers do it, but they put white flags in their fields. And I remember the Lord very, very sternly saying to me, surrender. And I wanted to ignore it. I really did. And I wanted to just do my own thing, and I wanted to have my own ideals about my career, and I wanted to have my own ideals about money and what that looked like in my life. And the whole time God was saying, surrender. This is where I want you. This is where I have you. And I think I've mentioned it a few times, but I had applied to jobs, right? And I was going on a little over 18 months of no work. So I finally applied to a job in Salem. And I go on the interview, and this is not a job in my career path whatsoever. And this was the only job that actually called me back and offered me the position. And it was selling life insurance. And it was the job where I met my kingdom spouse. So the reason I'm telling you this story, again, because I think some of my followers have already heard this. Provision is different than worldly money. Provision is having food at home in your cupboards. Provision is having gas in your tank. Provision is having your shoes that you've had for years, your jackets that you've had for years, just like last. They look good as new. That's provision. Worldly money is like, oh, I need all these new beauty products and all these candles and all these new clothes. That's worldly money, right? And I'm going to be really honest. I still struggle with my value and my worthiness every time I send out an invoice for a client to pay, which is how I sustain in my business, right? That's my provision. I get nervous. I'm like, are they going to want to work with me? Like, do they still value my services? Are they going to pay this? I still struggle with that. And truly, God was so kind to me. He said, I have to remember what he said. He said, the only way that you are going to get over that is if you rest in me, because the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And also, it's not about money. As soon as you say, God, I don't want money, I just want to do your will in my life. Here, let me pay my tithes. Where do you want this? Where do you want me to pay money to? Because you become the lender, and then he can increase your godly provision because he knows that you are stewarding that income. And that's what he wants. That's what he wants from us as entrepreneurs. And he wants us to have influence on the people around us because of that. And, you know, out of 8 years in my business, I had my first 10K month in March of this year. And it's taken this long to do it. And that's okay. And I'm thankful for that. And it's still a work in progress, guys. So, start the business, keep going with your business. If you have taken a pause in your business, it's okay. It's okay. Listen to God, listen to what he wants you to do. I had supplemental income and other jobs alongside what I was doing for my business for 6 years, really, for 4.5 years full-time and 6 years on and off with part-time work, supplemental income. And the Lord allowed that, and I'm so grateful. So surrender. It's not about money. It's about your purpose and how God wants to use you in this world. He will give you the provision. God bless you guys. Bye.